The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Media with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. You can visit and subscribe to the show at gotohealthmedia.com. And now, here is Jonathan Marks. Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Marks. Welcome back to another show of Go to Health. Remember, you can subscribe to us so you don't miss an episode at gotohealthmedia.com. Today we're talking about mental health in the workplace. It's an important topic. Many employees feel reluctant to talk about mental health with their colleagues or their supervisors. Many employees feel reluctant to talk about mental health with their colleagues or supervisors, and because there are so many people who can be experiencing stress in these days, it's important we deal with this issue. Mental health professionals envision a future where discussing these issues at work is not only acceptable, but also encouraged. The APA Foundation has developed the e-learning program Notice, Talk, Act at Work to provide employees with mental health training tools to support colleagues or themselves who may be struggling with their mental health. We are pleased to have with us today Rawle Andrews Jr. Esquire. He's the Executive Director of the American Psychiatric Association Foundation and a member of the APA Executive Leadership Team. Before joining the APA Foundation, Rawle held various executive leadership positions with AARP over 15 years. Rawle's commendations for community service include a 2023 Star of the Bar Award from the Women's Bar Association, a 2022 U.S. Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, the 2022 Charles Hamilton Houston Legal Services Award from the D.C. Courts, a 2022 Hope Center of Harlem Innovation Award, and the 2016 NAB Vets National Humanitarian Award. Rawle also serves as the 135th President of the Bar Association of the District of Columbia. So welcome to the show, Rawle Andrews Jr. Esquire, who's Executive Director of the American Psychiatric Association Foundation. How are you today, Rawle?
Doing fine, Jonathan. You yourself?
Good, I'm doing great. So Rawle, please give us an overview of the issues of mental health at work so that we understand the background of your recent study and mental health training program.
So the American Psychiatric Association and its foundation knew going into the year that nearly 75% of folks who are in the workplace felt like they were experiencing some kind of stress or mental health concern. We published a poll in January of this year. And during that poll, one of the key findings was that over 2 out of 5 people who took the poll said that they didn't feel like they could be their whole selves at work and talk openly about their mental health concerns because of shame or fear of retaliation or fear of judgment. And that 48% of the people in the poll said that they never felt like there was anything close to work-life balance, Jonathan, that, even when I'm not on the clock, I feel like I'm still tied to the clock.
Got it. So explain for us the Notice, Talk, Act at Work program. What is that?
So one of the things that we have looked at is how do you bring extra training to beef up the workforce, to beef up the performance of the organization as a whole. And we were able to land on the Notice, Talk, Act at Work framework. There's 2 different e-learning modules, less than an hour to do either one. We've got a manager model. And we've got a peer-to-peer individual contributor model. And Notice, Talk, Act framework for work is just like the stop, drop, and roll, if you remember stop, drop, and roll.
I sure do.
So how do we notice signs and symptoms of distress in ourselves or others? Right. How do we have a comfortable conversation like we're having right now about mental health versus a difficult conversation? That's talk. And then when we get to action, which is really important, what are the tools, tips, and resources that are available or should be available to help our teammates or help ourselves if we're struggling in the workplace?
Great. So this program, is this meant to be a discussion between or among coworkers, or is this meant to be discussions between a worker and, let's say, a supervisory staff person?
So it's all of the above. So there's a module where the manager and the direct report can have a conversation. That's the manager model of notice, talk, act, and work. But there are also instances where the team might notice that some behavior is outside typical behavior. And so what they're able to do is be better teammates to each other because we're seeing something we're not used to seeing. Or you're seeing something in me you're not used to seeing, and you got some additional tools, tips, and resources to help figure out what's going on and how we can live and lead whole and well.
Got it. So is it the idea of the program that employee can counsel employee, or is it really for an employee to bring the attention of someone they're concerned about to the attention of a supervisor?
Well, it is really to provide some additional tools to help us be more human at work so that we can work whole and well, bring our whole selves to work. So we're not trying to counsel employees. Notice Talk Act is not going to make you a counselor, but it
Right.
might give you a better instance to know that maybe some other type of support is needed. And that may or may not include counseling. It also is not a thing where you're going to be going around trying to find out if somebody is in distress or if you're in distress to go to the manager with it. If we see things that are outside the typical spectrum of behavior for me,
Hmm.
you want to be a better teammate to me so that I can perform at my best, or I want to be a better teammate to you so I can perform at my best, or I want to evaluate you fairly as your manager. And if there is something going on where we can give you some extra support, or if you need some extra assistance, let's figure out what that is together and work on it together. And again, the idea is to drive up employee satisfaction, to reduce burnout and stress, to improve employee retention. If we do those kind of things, it goes right to the bottom line. Our organization just got stronger.
So what can employers do to make it easier for employees to start conversations with their managers about mental health?
Well, the number one thing we have seen over the years is that in many instances, all of us take our cues from the top. So if the leader of the organization, if the manager of the team, if the supervisor is more open about their challenges, whatever those challenges might be, then it gives us permission to be more human too, to express ourselves in that way. The other thing that we have seen is that we don't want to just do this in a public format. This isn't a town hall format or a huddle format where people are poking at each other one way or the other. But, we want to pull ourselves to a safe space to the side if we
Hmm.
think something is off the spectrum and have that conversation. The other thing we want to do, there might be regular check-ins between manager and staff, but we need to do something that's separate from your performance if we think something really is, atypical, so that this is really about you and your whole being, your health and your well-being. We don't want to mosh it all together with whatever we're working on, the TPS report or whatever there might be out there.
Right. So you referred to it earlier, but I just would like you to repeat, if you don't mind, why should companies invest in mental health training? What are the benefits to the companies and the employees themselves?
So let's start at the top. We know that absenteeism is a $210 billion problem annually for lost productivity in the United States. According to the World Health Organization, for every $1 invested in mental health training and support, we're returning $4 to the bottom line.
Hmm.
So we can't expect that our clients and our customers are going to get the best from our organizations if we're not giving the best to our teams who are serving these customers with whatever goods and products and services we have. We got to make sure the team is right so they can prepare to perform with excellence so that then our clients, in turn, receive the benefit of their bargain.
Good. That's a great answer. Thank you for going through that in detail. So, where can we go to learn more?
Our website for Notice Talk Act at Work is workplacementalhealth.org.
Okay.
Again, workplacementalhealth.org. You'll be able to see how to get in touch with us around Notice Talk Act at Work. But in addition, there are some additional tools, tips, and resources that are complimentary, that it won't cost you anything. Just play around with the site and see those infographics, some of those case studies. And then, if you're ready, get in touch with us or have your HR folks get in touch with us, and we'll talk to your employer about how to bring this extra on the job training resource to make our organizations better, to drive employee engagement, and overall improve the consistency to perform with excellence and the bottom line.
So let me repeat that. It's workplacementalhealth.org. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Good. And can anybody get in touch with you, whether it be an employee or a supervisor or HR? I guess the question is mostly about the employee. Can they get in touch with you directly?
Anybody, if you go to workplacementalhealth.org, you'll see how to get in touch with us, but you'll also have a bridge to providing information to bring that resource to your organization.
Yep.
Again, it's less than 1 hour to do it. It takes about 35, 45 minutes to do the training, whether that's the manager or the individual module. It's in 10 different languages, the 10 most commonly used languages around the world. So you
Wow.
don't have to worry if you're in an international organization. We got it in English, German, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, whatever you think you need in one of those languages. And with enough time, if we needed to add a language, we could do that as well.
And I'm going to throw a little trick question at you if you don't mind. What's the biggest misunderstanding do you think employees and supervisors have about mental health in the workplace? What's the biggest message you want to get out to correct a misunderstanding?
There is no health without mental health, and there is no shame in asking for help if you need it. We have to empower us and we have to empower our teams to recognize that everybody has mental health. Everybody has stress at some point. But if we're having really bad days for 3 or 6 months,
Mm.
we might need a little bit more than a conversation.
Good. Thank you so much for clarifying this and for being with us today. Remember, you can go to workplacementalhealth.org and repeat for us before we leave Rawle the statistics you mentioned at the top of the show. How many people are in trouble or are feeling stress? How big a problem is this?
So again, going into the poll, we knew it was over 75% who were struggling with stress or a mental health concern. 48% didn't feel like they had work-life balance. They were always on, could never be off the clock. And 40% felt like they would be marginalized or retaliated against if they spoke openly about mental health in the workplace. They'd be
Got,
seen as a weaker teammate.
got it. Do we have any sense for the reasons why people are feeling this way?
Well, there are age-old biases. I mean, think about what work is, the pressure to pay for, you might be the lead or co-breadwinner in the house. I don't want to jeopardize my employment or my career advancement by making somebody think that I am weaker as a member of the team, right? We don't want somebody to have a big project or a big task. And it's like, well, we can't give it to Rawle because, Rawle may not be 100% that day. And, he expressed some concerns. And so now we're worried, can we trust Rawle in a moment of consequence? So those are some of the things that drive the fears. Not all of them are rational, but
Hmm.
they are out there and we have to be honest about it. And the reason why we promote Notice Talk Act at Work is because there are, just like you get trained to do the job you're doing right now with the podcast,
Hmm.
there's a training available. Why would
Hmm.
we ignore that training if we knew a resource was out there that might help? Aren't we worth that much to ourselves to try to help ourselves get better, to live and lead whole and well?
Good. Oh, that I love hearing that message. Thank you so much. So we've been talking with Rawle Andrews Jr. Esquire. He's the executive director of the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, and we've been talking about their Notice, Talk, Act at Work program to help employers and employees with mental health. And you can learn more about that again at workplacementalhealth.org. Thanks so much for being with us today, Rawle. It was really helpful.
Thank you, Jonathan. I just want to say if there's somebody at work or going to work and you don't feel like workplacementalhealth.org is all you need help right now. We want to encourage people to use the 988 National Crisis Helpline. You could call, text, or chat 24/7, 365 if you need help or you think somebody needs help right now.
Wow, 988. I haven't heard that number before. Thank you for sharing that with us. 988. Good. All right, Raul, thanks so much for being with us today. And remember, everybody, you can go to get help at workplacementalhealth.org. Thanks so much for being with us today. We're glad you're here. You can subscribe to us at gotohealthmedia.com so you don't miss a show. And remember, as we say at the end of every show, go to health. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Media. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next time. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.